What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. We are getting closer to that first playoff game. What's up? We got to talk about that. We'll talk about Pete Carroll. We're going to talk about Brock Purdy. There's a lot of hype on Brock Purdy. Obviously, every week the hype continues, but we're going to talk specifically about the Offensive Rookie of the Year hype. But before we do, you know what we got to do. We got to play a little bit of an intro. I hope everybody's having a good day. I love that intro. What's up, everybody? How's it going? What's up, Tej Beats? Yes, I got my page back. Christy Marie, appreciate the warm welcome. What's up, everybody? I got my page back. The week I went to Vegas, but I was sick. And then I threw my back out last week. I've been in, this last month for me personally has not been the best. But we're good. I'm feeling great now. We're doing good. And now, you know what? The Niners are in the playoffs. And they play Seattle on Saturday. We all know it. We're hyped up. Before we even talk about that game, which we probably will, I want to talk about Pete Carroll and how I think he's playing mind games with the 49ers. I think, he's praising them today. Y'all saw the press conference where he's saying, unfortunately, we're playing the Niners. They're on a roll. They're the hottest team in the league. Pete Carroll is buttering up the 49ers. He's got something up his sleeves. I don't know what you guys think, but I think Pete Carroll's got something up his sleeve. You know him. He's a mad professor, just like Kyle. He's had a good history against the 49ers in his career. The 49ers typically have a hard time playing against Pete. He always throws a kitchen sink, and he's respectful, put some respect on the Niners and saying how, he's just it's just such a good team and this and that. They got a good rookie quarterback, and he's buttering up the 49ers. I hope this team doesn't fall into his trap. He's playing checkers, but Kyle is always playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. But Pete's trying to stay ahead of the 49ers right now, giving us praise. I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, okay, because everybody at first I was listening to it, I was like, oh, he's scared. And then I was listening to it again. I was like, no, he's playing mind games. He's playing tricks on us. He is trying to make us feel a false sense of security. So appreciate you, Christy. I'm definitely feeling better. It's been a rough couple weeks, but we're good now. I'm past the sickness. Still a little soreness in the back, but we're getting past it. But yeah, Pete Carroll putting some praise on the 49ers. What do you guys think? Do you think Pete Carroll's playing mind games? Are you guys afraid of the Seahawks? Because I see a lot of people out there on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram. People are worried that we're playing the Seahawks. I think they're worried about the fact that we're playing them for the third time this year. And I know last year the 49ers played the Rams for the third time in the playoffs. And that third time was a charm for the Rams, and it was kind of unfortunate. You beat the team twice in the regular season, but then the one time it matters, the Niners lost. And that's what I think a lot of people are afraid of PTSD from repeating what happened last year. We beat the Seahawks twice, swept them. We swept the whole NFC West. And now we have to play them in a massive game. This is the game that matters. You throw away the other two games at this point don't matter anymore. I mean, obviously, it got us to this point. It got us to the playoffs. It helped us get, the home field advantage against the Seahawks. But you throw everything out the window, and the records are the same now in the playoffs. Everybody's 0-0. So I know a lot of people are afraid. There we go. Raj says afraid. Hell no. Christy says no. Ari So Cool says no. Raj says just got to watch out for those special team tricks these clowns use. Yeah, that's the thing. Pete Carroll always has tricks up his sleeve, special teams, man. The guy knows fake punt, fake field goal. The guy always. 49er Ben says they're playing possum. I think so too. I think Pete Carroll is playing possum. He's trying to butter us. He's buttering the bagel up. Oh yeah, the 49er. I know his tricks. He's up to no good. He's done it before when he was a coach. When he was at USC, right? I remember that. The guy, that's what he used to do. He's praise. Oh, Vince Young. He's so. USC came for blood, on Vince Young, but he didn't expect it that Vince was going to be that good. But I'll tell you what, man, Pete always has some diabolical plan, and it's going to be a tough game. But yeah, it was funny to hear Pete Carroll, praise. He was praising the Niners. It was kind of a funny sound clip. He's like, "Oh, thanks for the Lions. We're their biggest fans. Thank you to the Detroit Lions." And then he's like, "Oh, but unfortunately, we got to play the Niners." So I think he's playing possum too. I definitely too. Sean says Russell Wilson isn't there this time. That's a big part of the Seahawks, right? Traditionally, over the last couple of years, they've handled us because Russell Wilson was the quarterback. We couldn't stop it. That was a kryptonite, man. Kryptonite. Russell Wilson. It's crazy. The last time the 49ers played the Seahawks, 2013. You guys remember that game? That was I don't even know if I want to post about it because that was a heartbreaking game. Y'all remember NFC Championship, 2013. Kaepernick was there. Bowman, the injury to Bowman, the fans were classless, throwing the popcorn, all that stuff. It was a horrible game. And then, of course, Richard Sherman, we remember, Michael Crabtree fade in the end zone, and Richard Sherman throws the interception heard around the world. And after the game, that's why you don't try me with the side receiver like Crabtree. I'll never forget that moment. And now we need revenge on them because that game still stings. I remember the feeling of that game and just being so upset and so angry and heartbroken. All the emotions flooded me. And I was sitting there just so pissed. And I hated Richard Sherman. And it's crazy because now I love Richard Sherman. He became a hero for the 49ers when he came to the Niners. It's crazy. The history between these two teams over the last 2 decades has been crazy. And Pete Carroll has been at the helm of it all. And Pete knows this team. He knows this team. And of course, again, I give him respect for showing respect to the Niners, but I think it's a diabolical plan. He's playing mind games. He's trying to bait us, and he's trying to get this team to fall in a false sense of security. And I'm not falling for Pete's tricks. Hope the team doesn't fall for Pete's tricks. But man, oh man, this is a big game on Saturday. This is a rivalry. This is a rivalry game. It's a division rival. And to play them in a playoff game, it's going to be a war. It's going to be a world war. A world war. Get to some of these comments. 49er Ben says, I always felt weird about Sherman coming to the Niners. I know a lot of people did. It was weird. When he first came, I was like, I don't know, man. And I remember his interview. We all remember it. Don't worry, faithful. Don't worry. I'll make up for the times. And at first, I was like, dude, we got Richard Sherman. This is weird. He dog walked us for a long time. And then I was like, we got Richard Sherman. And he really stepped up and became a leader and a captain and all that stuff and like an extra coach out there. But it was definitely weird when we when we got him on the Niners. It's just so weird because you remember that playoff moment. And then you have to root for it's like you rooted against him for so many years. And then we had to root for him. It was just a weird feeling. Juanita says, me too, Raj. When we were eating that turkey leg, I was so mad. Oh, my God. You remember that when Thanksgiving game, Richard Sherman and the Seahawks, they cooked us up just like a turkey, and they ate a turkey on the 50-yard line. That was disrespectful. I'll never forget. The Seahawks put some beat downs on the Niners, and this is a game where I need 49ers to come out and just they can't lose because this is going to piss off a lot of fans if we lose. First off, it's a playoff game. You don't want to lose because your season's over, and we worked tremendously hard. They were 3-4, finished off with a 10-game win streak. Right? It's crazy how they did it. And for all of that to come to an end would be miserable, especially to the Seahawks, because they're classless fans. Their fan base would just rip into us. And they would never let us go. We're going to, how it goes after a game. You post the memes, you sit there and you trash talk, you pull the receipts. If the 49ers lose on Saturday, I don't even want to see them. I don't even want to be around social media. It's going to be an ugly time, man. It's going to be an ugly time. So I'm really hoping the 49ers win this game. My man Sean says he was screaming in agony the moment that pick happened. We all were. Heartbreak game. A Boogie says Seattle's reaching for anything. They're down bad. They are down bad. But they gotta get some type of motivation going for that locker room. Some type of they got to get something for those players to rise up for this game. Obviously, not much because it is a rivalry game, but Pete's got to give this team something to fight for. He's going to let these players feed off of that because the Niners, if you just look at it on paper, if you sit there and you say, okay, if these two teams were to play, 9 times out of 10, you would say, okay, the Niners are going to crush them. They're just the better team. But you throw it all out on a rivalry game, and Pete's trying to get everything out of these players, man, everything out of these guys. And he has this season. Nobody expected, I didn't expect, maybe you guys did, but I didn't expect Seattle to be the number 2 team in the NFC West. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought they were bad. I thought their O-line was bad. Russ was gone. Geno, I was like, oh, God, Geno Smith. We were making fun of their quarterback situation at the beginning of the season. But lo and behold, man, they drafted good. They had 2 good running cornerbacks, Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant. And Kenneth Walker has become a great young running back. And, man, Pete did the damn thing with Geno Smith. I remember that when he sat there and he says, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. That's still the hardest bar of the entire season. That's still the hardest quote of the season. And I hate that it came from Geno Smith. So I hope we write back this today. Or I hope he writes back this weekend. Again, we've beat him twice. We've held him in check. Twice this season, we've held him in check. Can we do it a third time? We'll see. We'll see. Sean says, it's time we show the Seagulls what they have done for us for a decade this Saturday. 100%. 100%. We gotta give it right back to them. Because for too long, Seattle, they gave us the business, man. And now we got to turn the tide. We got to turn the tide. We got to turn the tide. And the thing is, we are at home. And I think that's the big advantage of, I know it's a short week. Both teams have a short week. But the big thing is the 49ers have the advantage because they're at home. Levi Stadium, it's rocking. Seattle has to travel to our stadium. It's going to be a electric atmosphere. Playoff Levi Stadium, this is crazy. We didn't get to have playoff Levi Stadium last year because we were on the road. This year, we got the playoff vibe in Levi's. And I know the Niner fan, I know you guys are going to be bringing the heat, the electricity on Saturday in Levi Stadium. So the Seahawks have to deal with the best fan base in the NFL. So my man 49er Ben says, if there's a team we owe an ass whipping to, it's that gum-chewing idiot in Seattle. I think Pete Carroll is going to have a whole pack of gum used on Saturday. At least a whole pack of gum. He better chew extra. He's going to be chewing that gum like crazy. It's always funny when he's chewing that gum, but I think he's going to need extra gum on Saturday because this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out war with the 49ers. It's going to be a run fest. It's going to be a rainy day, so you better bring your hard hats. You better start running the ball, and you better hope that your defense can hit. The Niners defense is physical. Seattle better bring it. But, it is going to be an interesting game because of the rain. It's been flooding out here. It's been crazy out in the Bay. I don't know if you guys seen it or if you live in the Bay. It has been downpour city. Now, I know Santa Clara is not as bad as some of the districts out here, like out in Santa Cruz area and some other areas in the Bay, but it's still coming down pretty crazy. So if the rain is anything like it's been lately, on Saturday, it's going to be a monsoon, rainy, flooded game. It's going to be crazy. I know they got the tarp down, but it doesn't help when the rain comes down on the game. So hopefully there's not too much on game day because we've kind of dodged some bullets lately. There's been a few weeks throughout the season where there has been rain scheduled, but we missed it. Like last week, it rained all day Saturday, and then it kind of didn't rain Sunday because it's like all the rain got wasted away on Saturday. I'm praying that it just wastes away all week and it doesn't rain on Saturday. But from what the forecast looks like, it's going to rain on Saturday. Flooded. It's literally flooded everywhere. It is crazy. I like, there's certain parts of the Bay that they have like flash flood warning and they have evacuation warnings. Like they say you might want to evacuate where you're at. Like, it is very bad out here. It's crazy. For 2 straight weeks, it's been raining like that in the Bay. And I know California, for a long time, they had these, it was like they were in a drought. Man, these last 2 weeks definitely ain't in a drought anymore because it's been pouring like crazy. So that's going to have a big impact on the game. Central California is flooding too. Yeah, Zay, it's crazy. One of my boys that lives in L.A. yesterday was sending me some pics. He works late at night. It's like a security guard. And he says it was flooded all over the freeway. And there was like cars that got in an accident. Like people were braking hard because all of a sudden this like wave of water came, and it was just a crazy situation. So it's raining everywhere out here in California. So stay safe if you're out in Cali. Anywhere really, stay safe. But out in the Bay, man, it's hard. It's weird because the driving here, People don't know how to drive to begin with. Now with the rain, it's scary. You see people's cars fishtailing. You see cars all over the place going haywire. So stay safe out there. It's a zoo out there. It's a zoo out there. Beast Mode says, Pete, better watch out for playoff CMC. Yo, CMC, you see his post yesterday? He says it's time. It's time, bro. Playoff CMC. You know, the one time he was in the playoffs was like 2017 or 2018, I think, back in the Panthers wild card game. He was a very young player. He didn't get to do much in the playoffs because, you know, he played for the Panthers. And I think he's been waiting for this moment to go crazy. And playoff CMC is loading for Saturday. We've seen what he's done all season. He's kind of been that extra juice this team needed. He was that missing piece. And he's been the man that really elevated this offense. Right? They're scoring so many more points since he's been brought onto the team. CMC in the playoffs, I'm telling you, I think he's about to go absolutely buck wild in the playoffs. And Pete, he better bring his A game because CMC, man, I could tell he's got something cooking. This guy, he works so hard, man. Like, that's the thing I love about CMC. His work ethic is incredible. That's why he's so good. He makes everybody else better because they probably like, dude, this guy's working so hard. He's already a superstar. He's already like an established player, but the way he works is just amazing. Like, he's mad. Like, you remember a couple weeks ago, there was an interview with the running backs coach or the O-line coach, and he says, Christian McCaffrey was upset at the game, upset at himself, and I think he led the team in rushing and receiving that game. And he was mad. He's like, I'll do better. The man was like the best player on the field that day, but he still wanted to do better. That was regular season mode. I can't imagine Christian McCaffrey in playoff mode. Are you kidding me? F them picks, baby. F them picks. He was worth every single draft pick. CMC, man, this was the money move. I really think, this was the move they got to put this team over the top. They already had a star-studded offense. But now you got CMC. This guy is just, he's a superstar. You added to Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, Juice, and Elijah Mitchell, and Juwan Jennings, Ray McCloud. This offense has been cooking. They're averaging 33.5 points over the last month and a half. It's crazy to me how good this offense has been. And we said it a lot. This defense usually carries this team. But now the offense is carrying the team. And that's scary because now you have two sides of the ball. Good luck. Because your offense is physical, they're going to hit you in the mouth. The defense is physical, they hit you in the mouth. They can score in the red zone. That was their big issue. Brock Purdy and George Kittle dominating in the red zone. So we'll see what happens. Pete Carroll he got his work cut out for him. Ted says, how bad is it going to rain Saturday? I'm not sure how bad it is. I know it is. There's like a 70% chance of rain. If it rains like it's been raining this week, it's pretty bad. There's times where the water just coming down like crazy, like buckets of water, just shh. And then it's weird because California rain, it's just weird because it'll pour down like a torrential downpour. And then 5 minutes later, it's sprinkling. And then 5 minutes later, there's nothing. And then 10 minutes later, shh. It's weird out here, the way it rains out here. But it's been raining hard enough to have floods and evacuation warnings. So we'll see. Whew. 96% chance, my man. Crazy Juice says. The last time I checked was 70. So it definitely went up. 96% chance. Ted says he's going to be at the game. Yo, bring a rain jacket, bring a parka, a poncho, bring all the rain gear because it's about to rain. It's going to rain. Lauro says if it rains, the Niners will control the run game. And that is definitely a benefit the Niners can have in this game because they're such a physical team, a running first team. And that's the benefit of teams that run the ball in the playoffs. You already get the benefit of if you're a good running team in the playoffs. Now with the rain and the elements, you're going to focus on that run game. And you're right. I think the Niners definitely have the advantage because of the rain. So definitely going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a crazy, wet, slip and slide type game. But hey, the Niners, we're battle tested. It is what it is. And they're going to run the ball a lot. So this is a good comment to segue into our next point of our talk today. We'll come back to the Pete stuff and then the Seattle stuff. But my man Kai says, don't expect Purdy to pass much. Now, you would think if it is a rainy game, you're going to limit the passing game. But I don't know. I don't really know because maybe Seattle's going to try to force Brock to throw. They're going to try to bring pressure. They're going to try to stop the run game. And they're going to try to force Brock to pass because obviously that's what you want to do. Young quarterback making his first start in the playoffs, right? Pete's going to bring the pressure. And they're going to want Brock Purdy to beat him. In the past, Jimmy Garoppolo, Seattle Seahawks forced Jimmy to throw over the middle or throw past the middle and things like that because they wanted Jimmy to beat them with the arm. And usually that wasn't the case. And, Kyle wanted to keep it simple, keep the run game. But Brock Purdy, he's not a bad quarterback in terms of throwing the ball downfield, finding the open receiver, scanning the field. He's shown that. He can go through his progressions. He's very poised in the pocket. Will he be able to continue that poise? That's what we're going to have to see in the playoffs because it's tough to believe a rookie quarterback can take a team to the Super Bowl. But I think Brock is special. His story's been amazing. And that begs the question. There's been a lot of people talking about it. Matt Mayoko talked about it. Pro Football Talk talked about it. Peter Schrager talked about it on Good Morning Football today. We've kind of hinted towards it. There's been people asking me questions in the lives over the last week or two. Is Brock Purdy the offensive rookie of the year? Should he get it? I know he played a small sample size. He didn't play a lot of games, but he played 6. He started 5. He's undefeated, 13 touchdowns. He set a franchise rookie record. He's been the best quarterback in the month of December. Like he was the number 1 quarterback in all those stat categories that we saw yesterday. He posted passer rating, touchdowns, yards per pass, all that stuff. I know there's been players that have played all season and put up great stats. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, much respect to them. But Brock Purdy, the number 3 quarterback on this team, the last pick in the draft, thrown into the fire. The 49ers didn't miss a beat. Their offense got better with Brock Purdy. The offense got better, and they won games. They completed a 10-game win streak. Now, they were on 5-game win streak before he came, obviously, and then he won 5 more. But they didn't miss a beat, and the offense got better. 33.5 points, up from like 22 points. Brock Purdy was the quarterback. Obviously, CMC was there too. But Brock Purdy, quarterback, takes over. You lose 2 starting quarterbacks. Boom, here he comes. Offense efficiency goes up. Red zone goes up. George Kittle becomes George Kittle again. And this team is like absolutely crazy. Offensively, they've been one of the best teams in the league now. I think he deserves to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know I might be biased. And again, Garrett Wilson, what did he do to help his team win? I know he had a trash quarterback situation there. He was good, and I got no disrespect, but he didn't help his team manufacture wins. Brock Purdy manufactured wins with this team. Like, he was a reason this team won. The Raiders, he had adversity. He was down. They were down in the game, and he helped lead this team back. Man. Like, without Brock Purdy, the Niners don't win 5 more games after, Garoppolo goes down. They probably don't win on a 10-game win streak without Brock Purdy. This guy has become the best quarterback in the league. I know it's a short sample size, and we'll see how it continues. Can he keep it up? I don't know. But in this season, so far, in my eyes, he's been the best rookie. I know he didn't play a full season. Now imagine he did play a full season. You extrapolate those stats up, his stats could be crazy. Like, his stats would be crazy if he played the way he played through these last 6 games. Like, to me, I think he deserves Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't agree. There's been like a controversy. Oh, he hasn't played enough games. He's product of the system. He's just checking it down to CMC, Adebo, blah, blah, blah. He's got the best stats out of all quarterbacks in the NFL over the last month. I don't care what you got to say. So let's see what you guys think. Let's see what you guys think about this. Tell them, baby. We won 2 games with an injured Jimmy. I think we'll be fine with Purdy. I agree. Let's see. Let's see what you guys think. And then I see a lot of questions we'll get back to. Purdy just needs to steer the ship. Let's see. Purdy broke the franchise. Alberto says Purdy broke the franchise record for rookie passing touchdowns in just 6 games. Has to be Rookie of the Year. This man set a rookie record on the team. The man played 6 games. Can you imagine if he played a full season? I don't know. If that doesn't scream Rookie of the Year to me, to you, I don't know what does. It's crazy because this passing game is just dangerous now with Brock. And again, I know some of you guys in the comments are saying how George Kittle has been utilized more in the red zone. Like, that red zone efficiency took a big uptick. At the beginning of the season, we would get to the red zone. Like, they were scoring, they were driving, but they'd have to settle for field goals. That's why we lost some games in the beginning of the season. They could not score touchdowns. They were scoring like 20 points a game, and you can't beat most of these teams, professional football teams, scoring 20 points. They're averaging 33 points. It's hard to beat a team when you're averaging 33 points. And that is the Brock Purdy effect. He's come in, and the offense has become more efficient. They're scoring more. They don't have to use field goals. Like the one time Robbie Gould had to kick a field goal a couple weeks ago against the Raiders, he was probably rusty. So he was like, Jenny went wide. He went wide. I mean, so wide right. The dude was rusty because he hadn't had to have been used much, because Brock Purdy and this offense are scoring a lot more touchdowns. You don't need to use Robbie Gould. They better get that rust off his foot, because we can't afford to miss those field goals in the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, Brock Purdy to me has been good enough to win the offensive rookie of the year. Like Chris Olave had a good rookie season. I mean, he's a receiver. He's basically their go-to guy. Michael Thomas got hurt. Slant Boy got hurt. Of course, they're going to force feed this man stats, but did he help the team win games as much as Brock Purdy? No. Garrett Wilson, he didn't help this team win games. Ken Walker, I mean, you can argue it. He had a good season. Running back, he's one of the better young running backs. But I don't think he had as big of an impact to help the Seahawks win games as much as Brock Purdy down the stretch. And they were important games. December football is the most critical point in the NFL, for a lot of teams. You separate yourself from the pack in December. And Brock Purdy was winning those games against the Dolphins, against the Buccaneers, against the Seahawks. Big time money games. Washington, at the time, they were like a big playoff contender, a team that was trying to get into the playoffs. And Brock Purdy did that. He beat all those teams. Obviously it's a team sport, but he was the quarterback that led the Niners to beat those teams. I don't know. That's my argument. I think Brock Purdy should be the offensive rookie of the year. I know it's a small sample size, but to me, in that small sample size, he's been the best rookie. It's been amazing to see. I hope he keeps it up in the playoffs. Playoffs are a different monster. And I hope he keeps his poise up. The guy has been so calm in the pocket, man. Pressure comes, he don't care. He don't need to change his diaper like some people. You got some quarterbacks, boy, I bet you after the game they are stinky underpants because they probably took a shit because that pressure, like Zach Wilson, this guy doesn't have it. He folds under the pressure. A lot of young quarterbacks fold under the pressure. Brock Purdy's not that guy. He stands up. He evades the pressure. This guy, he lives for the pressure. Brock Purdy is so poised, man. Oh, I hope he can continue it. I love him, man. He's been a great story. It's been a phenomenal season. This is probably one of the greatest seasons we've watched. The man is the last pick of the draft. Third quarterback coming on the team. We didn't expect much. And he's become a star in the making. And this story is crazy. We're in the playoffs. Number 2 seed. Swept the NFC West. It's crazy to me. I love it. Let me get to some of your questions. You guys had a lot of stuff today. Appreciate the chat today. Y'all are coming up. Y'all are doing a really good job. The chat's been hyped today, as always. It's good to be back. Hit that like button. You know what we got to do. Rocio says, I feel so comfortable operating the red zone with Jimmy. I was always full of anxiety. So was I. I was like, he was getting dancing, happy feet. He didn't know if he was going to throw a pick in the red zone. We settle for field goals all the time. No disrespect. But Brock Purdy, he knows what to do in the red zone. He knows, okay, look, I got George freaking Kittle with a tight end on him or with a slot corner on him or somebody, man to man. Nobody's going to take out George Kittle in the red. Like, if you're that close to scoring a touchdown, you give George Kittle the ball. He's going to score 9 times out of 10, and that's what he's doing. He's unlocked George Kittle, and that's what I thought he was going to do, and he has unlocked George Kittle. He's doing it, man, and that's the thing. George Kittle's so big, so athletic. The guy can run a route like crazy. You put man coverage on him, no linebacker can stop Kittle, and Brock Purdy knows it. They're in such sync. They're in such a rhythm. You get to that red zone, it's going to be a George Kittle touchdown 9 times out of 10. It's crazy. 7 touchdowns in 4 games. The number 1 touchdown scorer in the NFL in that time frame is George Kittle. Brock Purdy's been the quarterback. He knows it. Red zone is scary because he knows he has that safety blanket. It's the smartest thing you can do is get it to a big, tall tight end. Look at tight ends through the years, right? Travis Kelce, why does he score so many touchdowns? In the red zone, Mahomes throws it to him. Over the years, Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, right? Those big-time tight ends, Gronkowski, what made them special? They knew they were, like, their quarterbacks knew they were a touchdown threat in the red zone. Vernon Davis, those guys were touchdown threats. That's what you got to do. You get it to that guy that nobody's going to be able to guard in the red zone. And that's what Kittle is. And he has been cooking for Brock Purdy, man. Good comment. That was a good comment. Let's see some of these. Brock has gone deep on a couple plays also. He can go deep if needed. If needed, he throws it deep. He's not afraid to sling it. Brock Purdy's not afraid. Again, he's poised. He's definitely not afraid to throw the deep pass. And I feel Kyle trusts him. And that's the thing. Kyle trusts him in every game that Brock plays. You can see it. It's Kyle feeling more confident in this kid. He lets him operate a little bit more. And Brock calls his own number. There's been times where he checks off the play. He's like, I don't want that shit. He rolls out and he sees the play and he knows it. And there's been so many times where he'll go through the reads. And just like that Kittle touchdown against the Raiders, the one where he does the ice in the veins. We've talked about this many times, right? Kyle wanted him to go to a different side, the first check or the first read. There was open receivers. Brock didn't like that look. And he was like, all right, cool. And he scrambles around, finds Kittle at the back of the end zone, ice in the veins. Kyle's like, what are you doing, man? That wasn't the play. But, hey, that's the Brock. He's got that swag. And Kyle knows. He's like, this kid trusts himself. He's got confidence in himself. I'm going to be confident in him because I know I could trust him. And he's letting him let it sling, dude. He's letting him let the ball loose, like let it rip when he needs to. When he needs to. He doesn't always do it. But if he needs to, he can drop that pass deep down and inside. But, this team is still built on the yards after catch, the Yak boys, right? The Yak brothers, Debo and then Ayuk and Kittle. You get them that quick pass, let them do their thing. And even Christian McCaffrey, you throw the screen pass to him, he'll go and do his thing. But if needed, you set up that play action, and teams are going to start coming in for the screen. They're going to be coming in for the run game. Boom, play action, boom. And Brock can do that thing. He can do that thing. I love it. Gotta love it, man. Danielle says, we still need Jimmy as a backup in the playoffs. I think he probably will be if he's healthy. He'll be a backup. I stress backup, and there's no disrespect to Jimmy, but you cannot ruin the momentum. You cannot ruin what Brock is doing. I feel like that would be a horrible time to throw in Jimmy. He'd be rusty coming off a major injury. I know he'd be playing motivated. Jimmy would come in because he'd probably be like, all right, they don't believe in me again for the millionth time again. They don't believe me. He's going to play super motivated. But, hey, sometimes you just got to roll with what's working. And right now, Brock Purdy is working, and I would hate to ruin that steamroll momentum. Like their momentum is just, it's been phenomenal. Now, I know Jimmy went on a 5-game win streak on his own before he got hurt, but right now, I'm rolling with the hot hand, man. I do not want to take a chance on a guy that's coming off a broken ankle. Respect to Jimmy, but right now we got to roll with Brock. But he would be a good backup in case you never know what's going to happen. I don't want to wish any injury on anybody. Knock on wood, Brock stays healthy, but you never know. Would he be a good backup? Of course he would be. Peter says Brock has unlocked the entire offense. He has unlocked the entire offense. I agree with you. Literally, everything is opening up because you got CMC. Okay, screen pass. They're going to throw the screen pass to him. Boom. The defense starts coming up. We got to play CMC. Okay, now you got Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason. You can run the ball with them. You got to respect that. And then you got Debo. You got Ray, who can play like Debo at times. He's got the ability to run those jet sweeps. Kittle, now people have to respect Kittle. Brandon Ayuk, man, 1,000-yard receiver, 1K BA. He goes out there and does his thing. His route running is impeccable. So there's so many people, and Brock is able to spread the ball to everybody. And the defense right now, I don't know what the hell's going on. And Kyle is able to kind of manipulate that. He's been in his bag, man. His play calling has been nice. They just march down the field every time. I see them march down the field most times. Like 70% of the time, this team is just marching down the field. And it's crazy how good this offense is. Been nice. Myth Vibe says, it's funny. Our whole offense is based on run, pass. But with Jimmy, we can never pull off the pass part. Everyone would praise him like he's Jesus. Respect to Jimbo. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. Because and again, I hate to call out Jimmy and say because I don't want to hate the guy because he did a lot of good stuff for us. But obviously, there's some limitations with Jimmy at quarterback. He couldn't throw that deep pass. Teams knew it. He didn't have the mobility, especially after the ACL. he wasn't as mobile as he was. He was a limitation at times. There was a liability. He couldn't throw that ball. You remember the Titans game? Kyle Juszczyk wide open, deep pass. Say no more. Brock Purdy can hit those passes, and he's young. He's going to get better and better as he reads the defense, as he learns how to, the concepts of certain plays and certain positions lined up at certain, parts of the field. And that's something that you love to see because he's a young man. Jimmy, he's been in the system for 6 years, making similar mistakes, and it's frustrating when you got a guy that's a veteran. You're like, dude, just make the pass. How can you not do it? But you got this young buck making those plays, playing like a 10-year vet. Brock Purdy's playing like a 10-year vet, and they can run the offense, and the system works. The scheme has been amazing. You run. Teams can't stop the run. They stock the box. Here comes the pass. Oh my God! Now the defense is like, we got to respect the pass, and then you run. And then they're like, okay, let me play a prevent. And you throw the little screen pass at him with CMC. This offense is crazy. And that's Brock Purdy. And that's why, going back to the original topic, Brock Purdy, Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's changed the offense and made it so dynamic. Brock Purdy, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Put some respect on my boy. Let's go. Tommy says, Mr. Irrelevant is now the most talked about player this week. He went from Mr. Irrelevant to Mr. Relevant. He's so relevant now. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. This man was Mr. Irrelevant, and now he's the most relevant player in the NFL. It's crazy to me. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Look how much he's just grown in such a short amount of time. It's crazy. Woof. And I was reading some stuff. I've been looking into him and reading his draft stuff back in his junior year. So he stayed for his senior year. He actually probably would have been drafted higher that year had he left early, that draft class. But he opted to stay, and, he didn't have the greatest of senior years. And I think it hurt his draft stock. Plus, not only that, his his measurables and pro day and all that stuff just wasn't it. And he was, shorter guy. He's a short king. Short kings unite. I'm a short king. So those guys, the scouts, they looked at him and they're like, okay, this guy doesn't have it. He's short. But it's crazy because the year before, they were saying a different story. He was probably going to be maybe a third round draft pick, but then it changed because, he stayed a little longer and he didn't take that leap that they thought he would, from junior to senior year. And sometimes it happens. You think you're going to stay and make yourself look better, but you don't sometimes. And that's what happened to Brock. And he ended up becoming the last pick of the draft, 7th round pick. But hey, it worked out for us. I love it. Physical profile doesn't mean success in the NFL. I agree, haha. A lot of people, they get hyped up on the pro day. They get hyped up on, all those the scouting measurables, which is understandable because a lot of those guys, you see a freak athlete, they should pan out. They should translate to the NFL. I love pro days. I love the combine. I love that stuff because a lot of times you see that stuff and you're like, they should be a good player based on this, that, and the other. That's what we see. That's the film we get. Those are the skills they're bringing to the table. But it's not 100% always accurate. Sometimes you see people and they're just combine warriors. They look so good at the combine. They come into the NFL and they bust out. So you never know. It's not always about physical, skills and things like that. You got to have the mental. You got to have the heart and everything. Look at Tom Brady. The guy looked like a sack of potatoes. You've seen his draft picture. The guy looks like a sack of potatoes, and he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Crazy, right? And then you have what's the guy? Zach Wilson. He looked great on. Oh my gosh, pro day. Look at him throw that deep pass. Oh my God, we fell in love with the deep pass, right? And then his, all the combine measure. Zach Wilson was a trendy pick. He was like, oh man, Zach Wilson. Oh my God. And now he looks like he's going to be the next big bust in the NFL, the biggest bust since Jamarcus Russell. Literally, the Zach Wilson looks like he's about to be the next Ryan Leaf in the NFL. It's crazy. He looks that bad. But on the pro days and everything, everybody was drooling. Oh, the scouts. Oh my God. I remember that video. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, ooh, that was in pro. Oh my God. Look at Zach Wilson throwing that deep pass. Oh my God. But he doesn't have it in here. That's where he's lacking. He's lagging it in here. Brock Purdy, that's the difference. He has it in here between the ears. Mentally, he's so much ahead of a guy like Zach Wilson. He's so much more mature. That's what Brock Purdy, he's separated because of that mental fortitude right there. The guy believes in himself. He's calm. He's poised. He's mature. Zach Wilson, boy, he cares more about bagging your mom than throwing touchdowns. He wants to go and date, play, girls as mom. Whatever. You can do what you got to do. If that's what your thing is, that's cool. But you're not going to make it to the NFL because you don't have the dedication and the work ethic. Right now, it doesn't appear to it. Maybe he can fix it around. He's young. Maybe he could change that. But right now, it doesn't look like he has that in him. We'll see. We'll see. Gave his game to Hokesha. Hey, I just keep it 100 out here. That's all we do. We keep it 100 out here. That's it. Boy, bagging people's mom. That story was crazy to me this offseason. That boy was crazy to me. He broke up with the dude, slept with the dude's mom. Like, crazy to me. Sleeping with dudes' moms out here instead of training on his deep path. Well, I'm not going to say anymore. I can get in really trouble. I already lost my page for a little bit. We're going to keep it PG. Sorry. We're going to stray away from the, you know what I mean. Zach Wilson, he doesn't have it in here. Tommy boy says, we only got one more year with Nick Bosa. Hopefully he stays with the Niners. They're about to give this man the biggest contract in the NFL. This man's about to get paid. He's about to get paid so much, like handsomely. Nick Bosa is about to get the biggest bag out there. He's about to win Defensive Player of the Year. And they're about to give this man a massive contract. Now, I know it's going to take a while this offseason because that's the way the Niners operate. But they'll give Nick Bosa he's going to get a blank check. John Lynch is going to say, and Parag, they're going to say, all right, here's a check. Nick's going to say, there's nothing on it. And they're going to say, write whatever the hell you want on it. That's what's going to happen. They're going to give this man a filthy, rich, stinking rich contract, man. It's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, Nick Bosa is about to get paid. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about that he's, entering. This is his last year under his rookie contract. They'll figure it out. They'll pay him. There's no way in my mind that he's not going to be on the Niners. At least 4 or 5 more years. At least maybe a Niner for life. I hope so. I would love to see this man be a Niner for life. Remember when George Kittle, his rookie season, he says sign that man to a 20-year deal? They might want to. They might want to sign Nick Bosa to a 20-year deal. Just like Kittle said a couple years back on that mic up. Sign him to a 20-year deal. They might want to. This guy is unbelievable. I'm happy for Nick. He led the league in sacks this year, 18 and a half. That's crazy, man. That's big. That's big recognition. He had a lot of big-time stats this year. I know he was close to getting Alvin Smith's record and Strahan's. He was close to getting all those big-time records in terms of sack, but he missed some time. He missed about 2.5 games, basically. 2 games really, and one of the games against the Chiefs, he played injured. So there's a little bit of a couple games where he didn't get some sacks, and then I also feel like those last 2 games, I think he was trying so hard. He was just trying, I think, a little too hard to get those. I could tell it was like in his mind, like he wanted to get the record too much. I think he was overzealous, but hey, he still led the league in sacks, 18 and a half. I know he wanted to get that Alden record. I just think he was overthinking it, but he's still going to get Defensive Player of the Year. If he doesn't, we riot, and the NFL is ridiculous. If Nick Bosa doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. This man should have Defensive Player of the Year. He better be. Nia says he'll beat those records eventually. He will. This guy's he's like, man, he's just so good. He literally is the best pass rusher in the NFL. Like, we're witnessing a God tier type player. Like, this is amazing. I'm so glad the Cardinals passed on this man. This is a franchise level, like Hall of Fame caliber player. If he stays healthy through the rest of his career and he continues to play at the level he can, we're witnessing a Hall of Fame player right before our eyes, and it's amazing. Like, we saw J.J. Watt play his last game, retired. He passed the torch to Nick Bosa. He's literally passing the torch. J.J. Watt was a phenomenal player. He was one of the best players in the league for many years, and that's going to be Nick Bosa. Like, this is amazing to see Nick Bosa. he's about to hit the peak of his career. Like he's entering the prime of his life, his career, and we're about to see it unfold. He's about to get paid a lot of money. So it's nice to have Bosa on this team. The guy is so good. He's got such a good work ethic, and that's what I love about him. Like you could tell he's all business. You saw him after the game, his press conference. He says, they go, "What do? You got that hermit lifestyle?" He goes, "I leave the game. I come on the couch. I get in my ice machine. I watch some shows, and then I go to bed at 8:30. And then I wake up the next day and I get to work. I start grinding." That's what he does, man. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't want to worry about it. He just worries about making himself the best he can be. He eats clean. He works out. He focuses on himself, and he just goes to bed and he wakes up early so he can be back and train for the next week, man. That's it. This guy's all about being the best. He's unbelievable, man. It's crazy. Like that work ethic, not a lot of people have it. Like he's just so focused. He's a creature of habit. He's got a routine and he sticks to it. He doesn't want to break his routine, and that you could just see it. His body's like probably has like 1% body fat. He's all muscle. He's just a monster, man, and he works incredibly hard to be the guy that he is. And I'm happy that we have Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. He's about to get that quarterback money. Yeah, he is 100%. 35 million. Can you imagine 35 million? Oh my God, I don't know how we're gonna pay this man, but we about to pay him a bag. Hey, you know what? It's not my money though. John Lynch. Call John. Yo, John. Yeah, you about to pay Bosa this offseason? How much money you pay? Ooh, it's a lot of money. I'm glad I don't have to pay it. Yeah, I know. Hey, make sure you pay him whatever he wants. Blank check him. Hey, good luck in the playoffs. I love you, John. Thanks for all you do. You're amazing. GM of the Executive of the Year. Thanks for CMC. Go pay Bosa. Go win the Super Bowl and pay Bosa. It's John Lynch. He says he's about to pay him. You don't even want to know the number he said. It's crazy. It's crazy to me, the number he's about to pay Nick Bosa. It's going to be crazy. Gold Blood, it says, by far the best pick since Bowman. I agree. That's a hell of a draft pick. God, we got lucky on that. The fact that Arizona took Kyler Murray instead, I count my blessings every day for that. So, gotta love it. Gotta love Nick Bosa. You gotta love this team. You gotta love Brock Purdy and the 49ers, man. This team is on a collision course. They seem like they're the team of destiny right now. I just hope they continue their winning ways. But I think we have too much talent to fall apart early. It would definitely be heartbreaking if we see them lose this weekend, but I don't think they will. I think they'll continue to win. I think it'll definitely be a hard-fought game. Playoffs are not easy. They're nothing to be taken lightly. And again, what we talked about earlier, Pete Carroll, he's got tricks up his sleeves. He's got tricks up those sleeves. I know he does. That man's 71. And I'm sure he's got a lot of years of wisdom. 71 years on this earth. He's got a lot of tricks, man. So we'll see. Pete Carroll's going to bring the kitchen sink out to Levi's. We'll see. Kai says, Purdy's rookie contract is going to help us by signing players as well. I agree. And that's why I don't think Jimmy, because there's been people thinking, will they bring Jimmy back next year? Well, I don't think they'll bring Jimmy back next year. He's going to be a free agent. I think he'll go to a team that needs a veteran, and he'll get his last big contract in the NFL. There's no reason you should bring back Jimmy because you got a young quarterback in Brock who's proven he can win, and you got Trey Lance who's there too, who's, you traded a lot to get him. He's he was your franchise guy. And even if he doesn't start, he's still on a rookie contract. And, he's there for depth. If Purdy becomes a starter, you got Trey Lance, who can be a great depth piece in case of injury. This year taught us you need depth at every position, especially quarterback. Because how many years did we go through Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt and we didn't have a good backup quarterback? Now we have two young quarterbacks on rookie contracts. We got Bosa that needs to be signed. Brandon Ayuk needs a contract extension. There's a lot of players that need money, and having these young quarterbacks on rookie contracts is going to allow that. That's usually why you get one of the reasons, not the only reason. Obviously, you want to build your team around a rookie quarterback. You want to get the next big guy, your franchise guy, and also having a quarterback on a rookie contract helps you bring talent in and sign players because it's a little bit cost efficient until the time comes when they need the money, their contract's extension. But you got 3-4 years to kind of have that leeway so you can bring players in. And that's the beauty of having quarterback on a rookie contract. And with Jimmy, it wasn't the case. He had a big, highly paid contract. But now that money will be off the books, and they can bring guys in like Nick Bosa back, and things like that. So wherever Jimmy goes, good luck to him. I'm sure he'll find a team. Maybe the Jets. There's a lot of teams that need a quarterback this offseason. And I'm sure Jimmy will get a job somewhere. He played really well this year when he needed to play. So I think he'll find a job somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets take him, though. Alberto says, fired up for Saturday. Too far from today. It seems like 2 weeks away from today. It's only Tuesday. These days are going slow because we are anticipating this game so much. Kai says, Jimmy's a solid quarterback, but Purdy is our guy. I think so. I mean, the guy's been playing out of his mind. But I will say that I did have a conversation with someone today, and we were like, you remember when Jimmy first came into the league? He had those 5 games, and it took the league by storm, and da-da-da-da-da. And then, they didn't get to the playoffs. It was just the end of the season. He comes in, and we were all like, oh, my God, Jimmy's the guy, the franchise. And we know what happens. He tore the ACL, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's different with Purdy because, now we got a playoff push. The team's different around him. And I just feel like there's something special about Purdy. I don't know. Maybe I'm blinded by how good he's been playing and all the hype and everything. We'll see. We're going to really see what he's made out of in the playoffs because the playoffs are a whole different ballgame. But I think this kid is special. I think he'll keep it up. And it's going to be a fun playoff run. I think this team's going to go. God, I really hope they go all the way, man. I know we all want them to go all the way, but I don't know. I got a good feeling about this team because, again, there's so many good players. John Lynch has built a phenomenal team, and a lot of people are expected to get poached from us, like D'Amico, Adam Peters, maybe Ron Carthon. Like players might be like this is the thing. Jimmy Ward might not be back next year, so I think a lot of these players and coaches and executives, I think they all have that desire. This might be the last year where they're all together because it's been a similar team for the last couple of years. And that like taste of defeat has probably got to be kicking them. 2019, they were so close, they fell short. And then, last year they got so close. Again, they fell short. You had D'Amico Ryans come back just so he can help this team, get back to where it needs to be. And he didn't think he was good enough yet. And he wanted to strengthen his resume as a head coach. And I think if D'Amico takes this defense, who's been the best defense in the league, and he can help them win a Super Bowl, his stock is as high as it can be. His money contract's going to be crazy. And everybody else, too. Adam Peters, bro. You got this guy, Brock Purdy, the 7th-round pick. If he's the scout that helped get him, that's going to be huge for him in terms of landing a GM job. And then all these players, all these coaches, all these people that may leave the team, they all want to go out on top. They all want to go out with the championship. John Lynch has been trying since he came in, and Kyle Shanahan, these two guys have been trying so hard to put together a championship team, and they're close. They got probably the best team on paper, some of the best players at every position, man. Trent Williams, Bosa, Warner, like just so many great players. I think that they have it. I think they could do it, This team is it. And again, a lot of these players, they've been so close. Kittle and Debo and, all these guys, man, they probably are so Bosa. They're probably so mad that they couldn't finish the job these last couple of years. This could be the year. And it starts Saturday against Pete Carroll. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be crazy. The Mellow Trucker says, D'Amico better leave us to coach the Texans. I don't think he's going to go to the Texans. I know there was a report that said the Texans are looking into him. But then there was another report that same day, and they said that he has no interest in going to the Texans. Could be cap. I know he played with the Texans. But, I mean, their situation is really murky. They don't really have a lot of talent. I don't know. I feel like, and they always have bad management issues. If I were D'Amico, I probably wouldn't want to go to the Texans myself. I feel like there's better opportunities, but there's not, like, great opportunities this year in terms of coaching. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the Colts. The Colts is a decent operation there. They got some players. They got some talent, some good defensive players. They got some players on offense. They need a quarterback. I mean, you got Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in the league. So I think the Colts would be a better option. I don't know. We'll see. I just hope that wherever he goes, he does good. I would hate to see him fail. It's like Salah and Mike McDaniel. I want to see them succeed too. You know, it's good to see those guys do well. We'll see what happens though. Broncos. Mello says Broncos. I think the Broncos is a good opportunity. Nathaniel Hackett was a horrible coach. I don't think he knew how to utilize Russ. Russ had his worst year as a pro. I mean, he's still a good quarterback. I think that if you have the right coach, and you can probably get the most out of Russ. We'll see. I think Sean Payton will go to the Broncos, but you never know. Carolina might be, looking to get another guy, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities this offseason. There's going to be a lot of jobs opening up, and there's a lot of coaches, though, on the table that teams are looking for, right? You got Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh's a guy that a lot of teams are looking at, whether he leaves Michigan or not, that's to be determined, but that's a guy that you got to compete against, and he has a good track record in the NFL. So DeMeco, a rookie head coach, basically, if he were to become a head coach, he's got to compete against a lot of these big-time names, like a Sean Payton and a Harbaugh and, et cetera, et cetera. So he needs to strengthen his resume. And that's, again, one of the reasons he came back. So if the 49ers can win a Super Bowl and he continues to have his defense just go crazy in the Super Bowl, that is going to be his resume builder. Like, yo, I was the DC for the 49ers. They won the Super Bowl. This defense was dominating, one of the best defenses of all time. Pay me my money. And people will be like, I'll pay you your money, DeMeco. So the job's not done for DeMeco. The job's not done for the Niners. He's got work to do if he wants to get a prestigious head coach job. So there's a lot of people that they're going to interview, not just DeMeco. He's got a competition himself. Hopefully they hire one of those other guys. I would love to keep DeMeco. I want to keep DeMeco, but I'm not going to be stingy. If they give him an offer that he can't refuse, he's got to take it. I'll feel happy for him because the guy would be leveling up and improving his career and everything. So shout out to DeMeco. If he does get a job, I'll be happy for the guy. But secretly, and what's the word I'm looking for? And I guess selfishly, I hope that man stays and he's our DC because I love that guy. He's been a hell of a DC, but we'll see what happens. Kai said, did I hear about Adam Peters leaving? Yeah, he might. Titans and the Cardinals are looking into him and Rand Carthon, two of our executives. Obviously, Adam Peters is the assistant GM. They've been trying to get him for years. People have been trying to get him for years. And then Rand Carthon, he's the director of pro development on the team. He's a good executive. So one of those two guys might leave. And those are important spots. Executive positions are big, and especially Adam Peters. He's been so good as a talent scout. Gets a lot of the late round picks. Him and John Lynch to me are such a good duo. John Lynch is the voice. He's the man that speaks eloquently, and he's the guy that he does the talking. Adam is kind of like the silent guy behind him, but he does all like the planning, and he's kind of like the brains of the operation in terms of player scouting and development. And John Lynch, he seals the deal. He can talk you like nobody's business, man. He's such a good talker. So those two together are a great duo in terms of GM, because you got your GM, your assistant GM, man. I love them together. I would hate to see Adam Peters go. We'll see what happens. Again, it's going to be an interesting offseason. It starts Saturday, though. The offseason's not here. We got a big game against Pete the Cheat. Pack your gum, Pete. Pack your gum, Pete, because the Niners are about to come and do some work in these playoffs. Hey, we're the number 2 seed. They got to come to Levi's. You know what? Before I leave here today, I'm tired of everybody saying, I'm afraid. I don't want to play the Seahawks. This is the third game. Stop being afraid. The Seahawks have to come to Levi's. They got to come to us. They got to come to the number 2 seed in the NFC. They got to come and play Bosa, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, Trent Williams, Aaron Banks. They got to play Mooney Ward. My boy Mooney Ward about to put that man DK in a clamp chokehold. Again, the Seattle Seahawks have to come to Levi's. We ain't got to go to Seattle. They got to come to us. Stop being afraid. Let's go, Niners. I love you guys. Have a good rest of your day. It's the postseason, January football. Let's go, Niners. I love you. Have a good rest of your night. Bang, bang. Niner gang.